Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Bevan Boychuk and I love movies. This is another installment of movies I should have seen by now. This week, I watched Blade Runner for the very first time. Blade Runner came out in, I believe, 1982. It stars Harrison Ford. It takes place in the year 2019, and it's always kind of interesting to go back to movies from previous decades and see how they depict the future. You had it in Back to the Future 2, you got it in this movie. There are other obvious examples that are just slipping my mind right now. Essentially what this movie is about, humanity has learned how to clone humans and use those clones as slaves. Usually in like off-world colonies, I'm assuming like Mars and planets and stuff like that. But at some point the clones rebelled and there was a big war in some other world, and here on Earth having a clone slave was banned, and so the government created this task force called Blade Runners to hunt them all down and take them out essentially. Harrison Ford is a Blade Runner himself, and hence the title of the movie, and he is taking out 4 Nexus, they're called? No, sorry, they are not. Nexus is the model. They are replicants, that's what they are. So Harrison Ford, he's tracking down replicants, taking them out one at a time. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie without getting too deep into it. So let's talk about the good first. For one, excellent idea. Like I said before, it's always interesting to look at movies that take place in the future just to see the different depictions, not necessarily like predictions, but just kind of like ideas of what could happen. And there's always like technology that was prevalent in the decade that they were created, in this case like payphones and stuff like that, that is obsolete now. Like I think the city I live in, I only know of one actual payphone, and it's at a 7-Eleven. Whereas when I was a kid, there were payphones everywhere. Every building had a payphone. They were on the street, like you could find them everywhere. So it's just funny to see all the technology that, the writer or director thinks is going to still be there in the future, even though it's like a crazy future that has all kinds of advanced technologies that we don't have, but they still have technology that we don't actually have in this day. Another good thing about this movie, it stars Harrison Ford. Who doesn't like Han Solo? Who doesn't like Indiana Jones? I mean, I don't like Indiana Jones, but that's only because it's going to be on a future episode of movies I should have seen by now. This movie was very film noir. It was dark. It was meticulous. It really built up to stuff. But if we just kind of transition to the things I didn't necessarily like about the movie, it's that it was too slow, it was too meticulous, it took too much time to build up to things. And if I'm being honest, I didn't even finish the movie. I got over halfway through and I noticed I'd been on my phone for quite a bit, probably like 15 minutes straight, and I realized I didn't know what was going on anymore. So I just gave up on it. I played Gears of War instead. I had this movie suggested to me by one of my buddies from work, and he warned me. He said it's going to be slow, it might be boring, and it really, really was. Harrison, great performances, really good writing. It was so slow. So needless to say, I don't really feel like I have to go further with this review because I didn't even finish the movie. So that's kind of the review right there, is that I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, it's well made. Yeah, the performances are really good. It's well written and all that. But when I watch movies, I don't focus on stuff like that. I'm not a student of film. I don't appreciate the art of filmmaking. I only watch movies with the hope that I will be entertained. Last night I went to go see Ride Along 2 with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube, and it was hilarious. And I'm sure Blade Runner, compared to Ride Along 2, critically Blade Runner is going to be the superior movie, I'm assuming, but I found Ride Along 2 way more entertaining. Blade Runner, this just isn't my kind of movie. You know, it's not a blockbuster. It's not, you know, edge of your seat action and suspense. It's slow, meticulous. Whereas I'm more into, you know, Terminator, where, not to sound like, you know, the dumb guy who watches movies doesn't appreciate things, but, you know, there's action, there's stuff that keeps me interested, keeps my attention on it. Whereas Blade Runner just didn't have that something to keep my attention. And I know it's a sci-fi classic, and I accept that, and I can respect the movie for that. But it's not for me. It's not gonna keep me, Bevan Boychuk, entertained in the year 2016. Maybe if I had watched this movie as a kid, if I watched it, I was like 10 years old, there's enough things visually to keep 10-year-old me interested. But now that I'm 26 and I've seen, you know, movie after movie after movie that depict different futures and dystopians, that this movie just doesn't hold up today for me. So I hope that makes sense. I apologize if you're a huge fan of this movie and I just kind of shit all over it. But I'm not saying it's a bad movie, I'm just saying it's not for me. It just didn't keep me interested or entertained. And that there's nothing really wrong with that. That's why there's different genres of movies, because not everyone has the same taste. So what I want to hear from you this week is, what is your favorite Harrison Ford movie? This one sure is not my favorite, but I want to hear from you. Is this your favorite Harrison Ford movie? Is it Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Air Force One? Tell me in the comments below. And while you're commenting, please hit that subscribe button. Share this video. I am trying to hit 100 subscribers so I can get a custom URL so I can really put some effort into marketing my channel. I'm about, I think, 25 last time I checked. So I'm a quarter of the way there, and thank you for all the people who did subscribe. I only had the channel going for a couple of weeks now, but I'm well ahead of where I thought I actually would be at this point. So thank you very much, guys. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Bevan Boychuk. Very easy. Not at Bevan Boychuk, very easy. At Bevan Boychuk, which is very easy to remember. And don't forget, I put videos out every Sunday and Thursday. So stay tuned this week. I'll be talking about something. I don't know what. Tune in and find out, and I will see you later.